recently I had a TMNT special on my Patreon, and I had Mark Pellegrini, who's an enormous TMNT fan, historian, even edits TMNT comic books to this day in the European market. And obviously, he's also the writer of Kamen America, also the writer of Kamen America Alpha, also the writer of Black Ops. Been very, very successful, along with his partner, Tim Lim, over at Iconic Comics. And we obviously had to talk about what Kamen America, Black Ops, and Iconic Comics are up to. So I thought this stuff was really good. Wanted to put it out here on the YouTube channel as well. Now, there will be a few mentions of TMNT, maybe Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, because we had talked about TMNT for like 2 hours straight. But then we got into the Kamen America stuff, the Black Ops stuff. And obviously, Mark and Tim are a startup, kind of like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. So that's why there is some mention of TMNT in this. But I wanted to get this out there because Mark was talking about all the really exciting stuff they are doing with Kamen America, Black Ops, at Iconic Comics. And I wanted to share this with you guys because, in my humble opinion, what Mark Pellegrini, Tim Lim, Doug Ernst, Eric Canetti are doing over at Iconic Comics is the gold standard in many ways when it comes to comic book crowdfunding, pre-sales, whatever you want to call it. And I definitely wanted to get the word out and share this with you guys because these guys definitely get my seal of approval. They've been doing it for years. They got an amazing process, and their stories are absolutely badass. I hope you guys love this. An update on Kamen America and the other projects that Tim and Mark are working on. We hadn't talked about this on the channel, but I'm a huge supporter, huge fan, and I'm very, very happy to be associated with these guys. They're absolutely amazing.
It's a lot. I think sometimes Tim just wants to faint because he's so overworked because we both have our day jobs too. So, but I feel like if we can do it, then really anybody can do it. You just have to have the motivation and the energy and the work ethic to get it done. Like every day I've got to write. The weekend comes. I do my day job 40 hours a week, but then the weekend comes and all right, got to sit down and write. I got to hit these deadlines. I got to write a whole after this today, even though it's Easter, I got to write a whole bunch of new strips for the webtoon. The current version of the webtoon is Carly's America, which is a prequel comic, and that comes out every Wednesday. And I've got to write a bunch of scripts to send to Tim, or Tim won't have anything to draw, and then the comic will be late, and so we can't have that. So got to hit our deadlines. But we also have these licensing deals in Japan that we've been doing, and that requires a lot of contracts and Zoom meetings. They're on the other side of the planet, so sometimes we have to do our Zoom meetings at 1 a.m, to fit that timetable. But we've had Kamen America merchandise available in Animate stores in all over Japan right now. You can walk into an Animate store, which has several locations there, and there's a whole shelf of Kamen America exclusive merchandise. We just did, with Kuji Cliff, we just did a online lottery for more exclusive Kamen America merchandise, and the next one coming up is with Medicos, and it's going to be pop-up shops. We're going to have some in Shibuya and then Osaka. And the Shibuya one is going to open up on April 30th, and it'll be open for about a month, and then it'll move over to Osaka, and that's going to have exclusive Kamen America merchandise in Japan. So, but getting all those contract negotiations, a lot of those licensees, they seek us out, they contact us and ask what our licensing deals are, and we just say like, well, what do you want to do? And then we on a case-by-case basis, we work those contracts out with them. And that's a lot of work, too.
You're very humble here. Like, they just sought you out. But you intentionally went to an audience that was overseas, targeted them, and you were successful.
Well, I mean, that, too, is like we didn't do the Japanese translations immediately. We produced, I think we were close to being done with Kamen America 8. And by then... we had actually built up a following in Japan before we translated anything. Yoshida-san, who helps us now with our translations, and Sudapiko-san, she also helps the translations, and Hachifusa. A lot of these Japanese creators discovered Kamen America completely on their own and began sharing the images out in their own circles on Japanese social media. And eventually there was a doujinshi published in Comiket, which is the Japanese version of Comic-Con. It's the biggest comic book convention in Japan for manga. And there's a Kamen America doujinshi being published there by Circle Oniguma, which is like, a dozen different Japanese artists and writers. And so we're like, wow, we're seeing all this stuff happening. Like, wow, there's actually a lot of interest in Japan, in Kamen America. The least we can do is translate our books so they can read it, right? So that motivated us to create the Japanese translations, which are our best-selling books on Amazon. They've actually been number one on Amazon categories several times with the Japanese translation. Amazon Japan actually gave us an award because we made the top 10 bestsellers on Amazon Kindle Japan in 2024. So that was really exciting. But yeah, we have
in a particular category. Are you competing with all the other mainstream manga there?
No, this was just Amazon Kindle graphic novels. So yeah, we were in the top 10. Yeah, in Amazon Japan Kindle specifically. Yeah, it was very surprising. They sent us an email with the trophy graphic.
That's the biggest digital reading audience in the world when it comes to comic books. Nobody reads more comic books digitally than Japan.
Yeah, and that's a huge market. And so people who don't embrace digital comics, they're missing out on a huge market. I know a lot of people are afraid that, if I put my comic up on Amazon Kindle, someone's going to rip it and put it up online for free or something. Like, well, we did a book called, he said, My Hero Academia, right? That was a political parody comic that we did. And we didn't do initially an online version of that. And guess what? It wound up on 4chan anyway. Someone just scanned the pages and put it up on 4chan. So it's like, even if you don't put your book up on Amazon Kindle, someone's just going to scan the pages and put it online anyway. So you might as well monetize it and have your own version out there for those readers, or else you're just missing a whole market. But yeah,
as somebody that lives overseas, and I do live in Asia, I live in the Philippines, getting a physical copy of something that's promoted on Indiegogo or through Kickstarter that's being fulfilled in the United States is very, very expensive without a digital option. For a lot of people, it's not even a consideration to support the book.
It's true. I mean, we ship all of our merchandise overseas to Japan, and the shipping is expensive, and that's the criticism that we do get from our Japanese audience. Number one is that the shipping is too expensive, and it's like, we know there's nothing we can do about it. We're paying a flat postage
there, right?
Exactly, and so that's why we've made those licensing deals with Kuji Cliff and Medicos and Animate. Is so that we have Kamen America merchandise that's produced in Japan and available in Japan. Meanwhile, our books, we have the Amazon Kindle digital version of the Japanese translation, but Amazon also offers print on demand. So we have and those are printed in Japan and internationally. If you're in Brazil and you want to buy a hard copy of Kamen America Omnibus 1, we have that available print on demand, and it'll be printed in Brazil and then shipped to the Brazilian customer, so they'll save on shipping costs. And so that's another way that we can get physical copies of our books into our international customers' hands. It's a new technology. You just have to embrace it. We're doing, for the first time ever, because at least at the time of this recording, Kamen America Alpha is available for pre-order on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and that's the manga-style book I was talking about. But for the first time ever, for this campaign, we are offering physically printed copies in Japanese of both Kamen America Alpha and Kamen America Omnibus 1, which collects volumes 1 through 4 of the American series. And we're offering those to our Japanese readers in hard copies. Previously, we'd only offered digital PDFs of the Japanese translation through our campaigns, but we're trying something different this time to give something out there that for our international backers.
Absolutely. And it's been wild watching you guys grow. Kamen America, I think the first one, it was successfully funded, but it wasn't six figures. It was like 25, 30,000. And it feels like every single time you guys do another volume or a chapter, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think the key ingredient to that is not only is it really good, Tim's a great artist, you're a very good writer, but you guys fulfill essentially everything. It's like you're on this really tight schedule where you can predict and know when the next chapter is coming out or the next big crossover or even the new Black Ops.
We work a year ahead on all of our books so that if anything catastrophic were to ever happen, we have our lead time. So, I finished writing Kamen America 11. Kamen America 10 just came out. I'm starting Kamen America 12. Also Black Ops 7, which is going to be the finale of that series. That one's done being drawn. I finished writing that one a long time ago.
I debuted in Black Ops.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you had a cameo. Yeah, I know that beard. But and then I'm writing Alpha 2 right now. Alpha 1 is currently in the pre-order process because the book is finished. Now I'm writing Alpha 2. And so we always work a year ahead, because the thing that will kill your momentum is if you have a late book or if you just don't have these books coming out consistently. So we got to do our 2 main Kamen America volumes a year plus a third book. We also have the micro series, which is drawn by Hachifusa and co-written by my friend Eric Taylor. And so those come out as add-ons with the main series. And so the Common Victory micro series, we're working on that one right now. So you got to think ahead. You're writing this. I'm writing Kamen America 11. Like, I just finished that script and sent that off to Tim, and Tim's drawing that right now. I don't get paid a dime for Kamen America 11 until that book goes on sale a year from now, and then hopefully people buy it and we get our and then after Kamen America 11 has been pre-ordered, printed, and fulfilled, and everybody else gets paid, including Iconic Comics and everybody else along the line, then what's left that Tim and I don't roll over into overhead, that's when we get a paycheck for ourselves. So I'm not going to see money for Kamen America 11. I just wrote it in 2025. I'm probably not going to get a check for that until like early 2027. So you're working hard now with the expectation that you might get paid a lot later. You just have to accept that.
The rumor I heard was you guys had some weird angel investor at Iconic, and they just paid for everything.
If only we had our own.
Risking anything here, Mark.
Right? If we only had our own Mark Friedman and Surge Licensing who came down and did our toys and our cartoons and everything for us. No, Iconic Comics is our publisher and our fulfillment center, but they don't own Kamen America. We do, and so everything that they do, we have to pay them a cut. They don't do this stuff for free, Mm-hmm. All of those licensing deals with those overseas Japanese licensors like Medicos and Kuji Cliff and all them, they contacted us, and Tim and I worked out those contracts. And honestly, Iconic Comics isn't even involved in those because those are all being handled in-house by those licensees. The cosplayers, they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing, and they debuted at Comic-Con last summer. It was the July Comic-Con. And they made all of their costumes themselves, and they just did it as cosplay because they really liked the characters and they really liked the designs. And once we saw them cosplaying, we liked their work so much, we asked if we could do an official collaboration with them for a calendar, for the 2025 calendar. And so we worked that out with them, but they were just fans who cosplayed as their characters and did an amazing job as it. No angels came down from the heavens other than just the fact that we have these amazing fans who have done fan art, like Hachifusa. He draws the micro series for us now. He's drawing half of Black Ops 7, and he's our primary cover artist. And we met him through fan art. He was just posting this really amazing Kamen America fan art, and we're like, dude, can you do some covers for us? And
I know Mark does it all the time. He's always looking on Instagram, specifically like Japanese Instagram, looking for the next hot like Japanese artist that nobody's discovered, so we can throw some extra variant covers that people are going to like.
I feel like people watch what we're doing and then they poach whatever Japanese artist we collaborate with, they try to poach. I'm being paranoid about that, but Kafun was a big one. He did a lot of our art for us early on at the very beginning. That's starting, I think, as early as Kamen America 2. He does like and he wasn't very big when we first encountered him. We were able to get him to do a lot of art, and now he's so in demand it's almost impossible to book a commission with him. Kafun's exploded since then, and I wonder if we know that a lot of people discovered Kafun through Kamen America. Because they've told us, like, oh man, like I didn't know Kafun existed until I started seeing him doing your Kamen America art, and now I commission him all the time. Like we're like, yeah, and because you commission him all the time, now we can't commission him. But stuff like that happens. We don't have an angel investor. The angels are the people who. The cosplayers, the fan artists, and all of these people who we discover because they discovered us. Yoshida-san. He was one of our very first Japanese fans way back when only Kamen America 1 was out, and he discovered Kamen America 1, and he did a Japanese translation of the book in a Word document, and he would mail that Word document out to people who bought the Japanese people who bought the English version of Kamen America 1. He would send them the Word document with the Japanese translation of the text in it. So it wasn't like he was scanlating our book. He was sending people a Word document with a translation. And we're like, oh, Yoshida, that's awesome. And Yoshida's he runs Circle Oniguma, who does the doujinshi at Comiket. He was just someone who was a fan of Kamen America and wanted to spread the word about it. And those are the angel investors, is those fans out there who make all of it possible.
I thought there was just somebody behind the scenes that just made you guys successful. You didn't have to work for it.
No, I don't know where that rumor came from. I mean, honestly, if we had a secret millionaire who was paying for all this stuff, Tim and I wouldn't still have our day jobs. I wouldn't still be working in university administration, and Tim wouldn't still be an ear doctor. we'd be in the Bahamas somewhere.
Absolutely. So what's the next big innovation? I know you guys are always looking for like the next thing as an add-on, whether it be like placards, or I think there's been beach towels, all kinds of stuff in there. What have you guys been thinking about next? What's going to be the next big add-on there?
Well, so right now for the Kamen America Alpha pre-order, there's a lot of extras on there. So it's not just the Alpha comic. There's the reprint of Omnibus 1, and this version of Omnibus 1 includes Black Ops 3 in it. So that's something that this version has that the previous Omnibus 1s don't. But I think the big one that people might want to pay attention to is a lot of folks really liked our trailer because it had animation in it, which we had to commission ourselves from Otsu Labs, the animation studio that we worked with. And we would like to fund more animation. How are we going to fund more animation? Well, if you look at the campaign, one of the add-ons you can get is Kamen America Animation Works, which is a 40-page booklet that includes character models, key arts, storyboards, all the production materials from Otsu Labs for the animated sequence in our trailer. And all the proceeds for every sale of Animation Works is going to go to fund more Kamen America animation. And that's our pie in the sky, the finishing line is we want to do a Kamen America OVA. We want to do some form of long form Kamen America animation. And so by selling the Animation Works booklets, that's going to help fund more animation for Kamen America. But in addition to that, we have the Kamen Comet action figure, which is going to be available in Q4. The Kamen America action figure was available last year, and that was a huge seller. People really liked that one. We made 1,000 of them, and we sold out. We kept a few in hand, and we put them up on this campaign. I think we only had 25 left, and we put them up on this campaign, and we sold out almost immediately on those because people really love the action figure. So the Kamen Comet action figure is going to come out later this year, and then if that one sells, we'll do a Kamen Ramen one next year, and then maybe a Kamen Terror one, and then a Kamen Victory one, and so on. We're going to keep making action figures as long as people keep buying them.
Very, very cool. And I know that you and Tim, I was being facetious earlier. I know you guys have been working essentially tirelessly for years upon years at this point, and you guys totally deserve all this success. And I'm really so happy about what Iconic Comics has become, but certainly what the Kamen America brand is. The Black Ops brand seems like that one's about to wrap up, and it sounds like Alpha's kind of blowing up as well. So you guys totally deserved it because you worked really hard for this. Well,
thank you you've been with us since the very beginning, since the My Hero Macadamia days before Kamen America even existed. So we thank you for all your support and everything that you've given us for, 6 years, 7 years.